back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Global Games. I am Raven, and joining me is Lothar, of course, for day one. Had so many great matches so far today. We've got two more coming up for you. The first one is going to be China versus Sweden.
The match of the day, I would say.
Yep.
Right? Both teams are powerhouses. Sweden is basically Alliance and Show, a powerhouse on his own. I mean, he's a renowned streamer, but at the same time, well, he is actually very good at the game.
Yeah, he got the top 8 at HCT, just missed out on getting to the Winter Championship. So very, very, very good player. Very recently ranked 1, maybe even currently ranked 1 on the ladder at the moment as well. We can see the group: China, Brazil, Sweden, Bulgaria, Switzerland, and Indonesia. These two are definitely the standout. The standout countries in this group, as we see normally. The way the seeding works is you get sort of the powerhouse teams.
Yep.
A couple of them, as they are groups of 6, and then some sort of teams that are either up and coming, not well known, or whatever, something like that. But as you said, Sweden is Alliance plus Show, and then we have China, who is the China team is absolutely incredible, basically.
Yeah.
Although the main issue is there's been so many China versus X tournaments, right? And the pride is very important, and they expect themselves to win. But they didn't do so well at HCT.
So far,
Well, at HCT they didn't get anyone in HCT.
Oh, yeah,
it was
right.
one APAC, 2 Americas, 1 European players. So they missed out on the winter season. Jason Zhao, Omega Zero, Lovelychuch, and Nightwalk versus Powder, Osaka, Orange, and Show. Absolutely amazing match coming up for you guys. And this is the order. This is not the order they're going to play in. Sorry, I'm just making things up. We have Jason Show and Powder as the sort of leaders / captains of the teams. Powder was the top point earner for his country as well, so he was classed as the anchor. We have Osaka, obviously the one of the recent world champions. Orange, superstar player basically from Alliance
for a long time.
Has been performing very consistently throughout a reasonably long career now in Hearthstone, as long as they're going to get anyway. And obviously, as you mentioned, at Show. But these guys from China do not mess around. They take it very serious, especially when national pride is on the line.
And when it comes to those names, I only can't really tell anything about Nightwalk, but other three players are stars in China. Holy moly big. They're really strong competitive players. Already on the scene since 2014, if I remember correctly, when I was at WCA in 2014. All those players were actually present there.
Yeah, these guys are pretty much the superstars of China, as well as a few others, of course, but players like, Omega Zero, Lovelychuch, Jason Zhao especially, just the consistent performers. We see lovely shots there of the countries. I'm loving those shots. Glad we get to see them.
Yeah, those are amazing.
But we should be able to check out the actual format of the matchup here, what players are playing what decks, or what classes at least. The deck thing, I mean, we just watched Murloc Warlock, guys. Anything can...
It's pretty amazing to watch.
Anything can happen when it comes to Hearthstone, especially in this expansion. So we are going to see Lovelychuch versus Show in a best of 1, effectively, which contributes to the team best of 5. Lovelychuch with Warlock or Rogue, Show, Warrior, or Druid. And that's going to be followed up by Jason Zhao versus Powder, Omega Zero versus Orange, Nightwalk versus Osaka if required. And then the aces are Osaka and Omega Zero. Very interesting you see Osaka as the 4th match that might not play.
Right?
And potentially the 5th that also might not play.
Maybe it's like that. So first 3 games are done. Osaka stays alone.
In bed.
No, he stays alone, and just, I'm going to play it by myself. So if the 2 matches have to be played out, rest can just
it's just
leave
in
me
bed.
alone.
It's like, make me play last. I want to sleep.
Maybe. But at the same time, the ace match will only happen if there will be a 2-2 result. But also what is important, the 4th player will only play if the game will not result in a full sweep.
Yeah, it's basically the first team to 3 points and 3 wins. So a 3-0 will mean that there is no 4th game at all. We've not seen any 3-0s yet. We've seen a 3-1. Well, a couple of 3-1s, should I say. And now we can see the actual decks the players have chosen. They get to pick their own deck. There is no ban. They pick 1 deck out of the 2 they've brought to play. Lovelychuch going for the Rogue in game 1. Show going for the Druid over the Warrior. Maybe Show thought, I'm going to bring Warrior because it's basically has been for the longest time. Control Warrior is one of Show's specialities.
So opponent will pick my counter,
yeah,
and then I'll pick his counter.
Look, if you think of Show, you think of Warrior, and think of Control Warrior, and with Quest Warrior being so dominant at the moment, it's a deck Show I'm pretty sure has got. If you go against Show, you pick the counter, then Show's countered that with his Druid.
So the druid will most likely will be an aggro druid to counter the to counter the rogues, right? Because there are no taunts. There's no way.
Yeah,
of
you just kill them.
Yeah, just.
And also outside, like Fan of Knives, like isn't really great to deal with a lot of these things as well. A lot of the wide board. Fan of Knives is not good enough most of the time. We see some of the guys in China, Lovelychuch, Omega Zero and Jason Zhao there as well, so they're looking pretty good. We saw them not too long ago in they were playing in the Bahamas as well, so that was awesome. And Show just rocking his. If you've ever seen Show's stream, I think it's going to look very similar, very similar in terms of that camera.
You know what's really happy to see, at least for me, is that those players, when they are with their countrymen, they are way loosened up.
Oh,
they
yeah,
actually
way
joke
more
a
relaxed,
lot,
yeah.
way more relaxed. It's also the thing when you speak not your native language, you are less reactive. You have to be, you have to think about what you do.
I mean, if I, for example, had to talk in Polish, I wouldn't be talking
You'll
much.
be damned.
I wouldn't
Say
be talking
wciąż.
much. No, because I can't. Yeah, it's really great to see the teams come together and how they work out, and it's great on two levels as well. There's one level of, well, even whether or on comms or not, how they actually work together to win, and also it's just fun to hang out and play some Hearthstone. If anyone doesn't know, me, you, and Sottle were in the hotel room last night. Before bed, before anyone makes those comments, actually just jamming some Hearthstone, just playing some games.
Well, you were
about
playing.
decks.
I was just streaming.
Yeah, you were actually just watching us play, which maybe got a little bit weird. But let's not talk about us, and let's talk about these teams. China versus Sweden, Lovelychuch versus Show, Quest Rogue versus Aggro Druid. And, you called it. The Aggro Druid was a really nice pick to beat up this Quest Rogue before it can even get going.
Yeah. The thing is about the Quest Rogue is that the minions that he will play in first turns are really bad.
Yep.
Like 1-1, 1-2. Well, maybe 1-2 with a 1-1 because patches will come out of the deck. But usually, they're not a good match against the minions that Show will play. Enchanted Raven, Ardent Squire. All those minions will just be strictly better than the ones that your opponent is playing. And then you can buff them and smash face.
Exactly. And I imagine we might even see either both, or there we go, or one of the Ravasor Runts thrown away. Because it's not really a card you want to open with because you need 2 minions for the Adapt to go off on that guy. So yeah, we did see one get thrown by Show. Show does have Innovate as well. And the coin. He can make some big plays onto the board.
Unfortunately, that Defender of Argus is not really the best.
No. Maybe it's okay if you can Innovate.
All right.
I mean,
so now this is pretty sick.
Just play
Raven,
minions,
Innovate. Raven, Innovate, Runt.
I know you love me, Lothar, but you don't need to keep repeating my name. Okay.
Oh, Raven. I mean, this is sick.
Yeah, this is actually just the opening I think you want. There is maybe one argument for keeping hold of Innovate to go for Argus. But I think if you can go this hard on the board against Rogue, like Quest Rogue, I think you actually do it.
I think so as well, because you can top deck... you can top the Mark
a
of the Lotus.
A lot of your draws are actually just good at this point.
Yeah. And the fact that you are already adapting and run on turn 1 is pretty sick. Lovelychuch is like, oh no. Innervate. Alright. Divine Shield
feels good,
pretty sweet. It doesn't die basically to anything. So it's like...
Minibot.
It's like Minibot, yes, exactly.
Minibot that you have to hit the Divine Shield on.
So you would have played Minibot in this deck if you have the option, so why not play it? Do it your own.
3 2/2s on turn 1, one of which has Divine Shield, the other 2 are beasts, so can get buffed. Oh, sorry, all 3 are beasts, so they can get buffed by Mark of Yasharaj as well.
And the problem is, you can't really get the deckhand to charge because you don't have mana to get the dagger out and then play the deckhand. So you can deal with only one of those, and then next turn what you have to do is gonna play at least one deckhand, maybe 2. Oh my god. Alright, this is sweet. Which one do you buff though? Because there's merit to buff either of those. If you get a 4/4 with Divine Shield, it's pretty tough to deal with it, right?
I mean, the deck doesn't play Sap, right? So I would buff the Divine Shield, I think.
I think it's actually merit to buff the Enchanted Raven. Because
this though, man.
Well, the Eviscerate is a problem, definitely. But at the same time, it's hard to deal with both minions.
Yeah, you normally want to spread power, right? Yeah. Like, that's the issue. You don't want to go all in on one. But without Sap, I think you don't have to worry about that as much. So we're going to see Karen's Below actually get dropped down on turn 3.
Something new.
And now some deckhands, yeah, because the only problem with the deckhands is they can't really be used to trade because you need to bounce them. You know, like, unless, you know, he wants to go flame elementals, but there isn't that many flame elementals in the hand.
Well, he has the second deckhand in hand, so it's not that terrible. He can play the deckhand this turn, the second one, attack phase for 2, Shadow Step that. Next turn, he can play actually the deckhand for 0 mana, bounce it back again, and get 3 minions out of 4, right? So I feel like you might want to use that mana wisely. Oh, well, that's awkward. That's 6 mana, and you have well, you can have 5.
Yeah, I think you just make a 3-2 here.
Seems good.
You want to build into Argus, and there's still a lot of draws that can help out. This is the only risk of this deck. You know, we were messing with this deck yesterday, and sometimes you do just draw like 1 minion, then buff, or something. You're like, oh, well, I have no minions to buff because he killed my first one, and then I'm kind of running dry. Yep. So that's one of the small issues, and the deck doesn't really run that much card draw in general. I don't know Show's list, of course, but the deck only really runs like Mark of Yasharaj is card draw realistically.
And Genzo. We have seen Genzo today.
Yes, definitely not standard. I do love Handsome Guy, but he did lose.
Yeah, he
He's
did
only
lose.
played
Well,
for Korea that lost.
his opponent had a lava burst. Who would have thought about that, right? So, yeah.
The reads.
I think it was a really good decision to play that Genzo and buff it, because the only card that was actually dealing with it was either Hex or Lava Burst. And you saw a Lightning Bolt back then, so yeah, definitely a tricky decision to make.
Yep. And he's not gonna change it, trade with the minion, sorry, because just not really too fearful with the deckhands already on the prowl, so to speak. Not going to be too forced. Swashbuckler is going to be nice to try and draw something for the Team China here. Be able to deal with this board. As you know, if this board is not dealt with quickly, then the Argus comes down maybe with a minion with the Innovate next turn, and then suddenly this is almost impossible.
Might be. Huh. Alright, well, Swashbuckler can give you a swipe. Which is an option. Wouldn't you start with it?
Is he just not going to play it? I guess.
So it's 2 out of 4, right?
Yeah, and that's 3. And he can Shadow Step on 4, that's why. He can actually just put the quest this turn, so he's not going to bother with Swashbuckler. It's going to be 4, get the quest done, but he cannot play the quest this turn, so now I imagine Show's focus is going to be on actually clearing these minions now.
I was thinking maybe you want to keep the deckhand for next turn and play it as a 5/5 because it's 0 mana. But then you can trade with the 3/2.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
So you can play both. I mean, the entire hand.
I think you just do, right? What draws are you going to get past this that require the Innovate? You don't have enough cards. So I think you just play it, get the value of a 2/2 Divine Shield Taunt, go up to 5/5 for the Runt, which does trade directly into a buffed a questing minion, which is nice.
Well, I guess you need...
Is there a world in which you only buff the Squire? Probably not, right?
Nah.
I was thinking because the one of the minions that survives this turn, the quest will happen next turn, it just trades straight into Runt.
That's true, but at the same time, you kill one of those.
Yeah, this is right. It's just
5 damage to the face is really a lot. You know that the rogue has actually no way of healing. If he doesn't have a prep, he will lose time next turn to play any minion. So in this case, it's actually important to know that if he has a prep, there's only one chance to draw a minion. So the board will not get that big. So I think it was valid to trade.
But I think there is, the quest happens, so 2/5 attacks actually reduce your board down to just the defender Argus.
I mean, it was really clear.
It was good to trade.
Yeah, it
right,
was good to trade.
Yeah. Okay, so, sorry. I'm back with you, Luther. Yeah, I agree. Because otherwise you're down to a defender Argus, and Show needs to really, really get the most out of these minions that he has on board now.
He needs to get Living Mana next turn.
Living Mana would be insane.
Or Savage Roar, because Savage Roar right now, it's 6 damage. That's good. Yeah. That's like Fireball draw. That's actually really good.
Living Mana would be absolutely crazy, though.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Living Mana on 10/5. Insane. Yep. In an aggro deck, yes, definitely.
It's like just using your mana. Well, I mean, it literally is turning your mana into minions. But that's like so powerful when you have no cards. Firefly, okay.
Still not bad.
No, it puts more dudes.
More dudes for the Savage Roar, more dudes for the Mark of Lotus, more dudes for Power of the Wild, right? He used one, though.
He has used one, yeah. But still an option. Definitely good to just have multiple dudes on the board, though. All you're trying to do is just chip away this rogue before anything gets too crazy. Not a surprise to see the Elemental get dropped as well. Want to go as wide as possible. Start pushing this damage, and this is 5 damage this turn. That is a lot.
Still a long way ahead of the druid to dismantle the rogue, especially since now every single minion is a 5/5. So Stonta's boar is actually insane. Backstab, not a minion, but still, I feel like you start with Fan of Knives. You kill, then you kill with the backstab the Argent, and you attack into one of those minions who can kill them. Ooh, that's like the worst draw possible.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. And comes Swashbuckler to save the day, though.
Ooh.
Okay.
Well, that is playable next turn. It's a 5/5 taunt.
I think, and you know, at this turn, Lovelychuch is actually just dealing with these minions from show.
I think it's game. That taunt minion is actually, it's a immovable object.
And before Black Knight.
Or Keeper of the Grove. 1/1. No, wait, it reverts to 6/7 then. 5/7, sorry. Dark Arcor is 5/7, right?
Oh no, you're oh yeah, but it won't have taunt. 6/7, 6/7.
6/7. Then it reverts after the silence.
No,
It should reverse to
5/7.
6/7. Don't
so
confuse me.
confused.
Anyway,
I'm so confused.
for now
Look,
it's a
this is an
5/5.
old card. We've been focusing on trying to learn the new cards. It's just gonna go and push the damage with Power of the Wild with +1/+1 buffs on these minions though. Not make a 3/2 and go wider. Just make these a little bit more durable and not gonna die to dagger.
Man, he's just drawing only spells.
Oh shit! Cannot believe it.
Yeah. How do you deal with that? 6 HP. So close, yet so far. Oh.
I mean, Argus Hero Power helps get through this after 2 turns. You have to, right? It has to die.
But yeah, but then how you win? You don't have a single card that deals 6 damage.
Well, it means the Swashbuckler has to trade into the Argus,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not doing damage to you then, right?
That's true.
So obviously we can see that there's backstab hero power to kill the Argus, but you know, from Show's perspective, this actually is just what he.
Well,
oh, he's not going to attack. Okay.
I don't think actually backstab hero power is good for Lovelychuch, because what if for some reason Show plays a swipe?
Yeah, just out of nowhere, swipe face game.
Second Fan of Knives deals with the Argus. A prep is not really helpful right now. The most expensive spell was already played, the quest. He still has Mimic Pod in his deck, 2 of those, but at this time, it feels like he already has control of the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind the Swashbuckler trading in here.
Yeah.
Just keep the taunt full health, right?
Mm-hmm. I like that as well. I like that as well.
I mean, it does, with the daggers, it does speed up your clock by a turn, right? If you traded the Yarakoa, you hit for an extra 5 the turn after.
Yeah, but at the same
Well,
time,
I don't think it matters enough.
it doesn't really matter that much if you're like sure that your opponent is not playing direct damage.
Yeah.
Because there's just no way you can go through that.
Like a crawler's not going to be enough.
Not really. That's about it. Is there any card that can help him now? You will get 10 damage this turn. 1 damage from the dagger. He is dead next turn. No, wait. 1 damage from... 1 armor will be created by the hero power. And that will keep him alive for additional 1 turn. So if he gets living mana next turn... And Lovelychuch whiffs. And he
Double
actually
prep.
whiffed!
Prep into prep into prep concede.
He actually whiffed.
He'd probably really like to kill this Igneous off. If he could.
Alright, well, this gives an out to Show. He needs to draw living mana right now.
Pantry Spite!
Man,
Think about
this meta game just brings so much, so many
Wow.
cards that never have seen play before. I mean, okay, this was played in Evolve Shaman, but
Yeah, actually Pantry Spider.
oh, and a ball, and that is
One off.
1 off.
But pretty much lethal.
Yeah. Now, I don't think there's any out for
no 1 card, right?
Show.
Oh. Would Mark of Yashraj into Savage Roar.
That's actually lethal.
So that'd be 5.
That's actually lethal.
Oh, is it? Would have been 1, 2, 3, 5 trades. Yeah. Yeah, of course it is. So he's going to kill off 1 to stop that happening, which is reasonable again. He can't get lethal this turn. He pretty much sets up guaranteed next turn. And like the APAC regions, China, and China just dominating so far in this tournament. Mark of the Lotus, know what show needs.
Yeah.
And it looks like China is going to go 1-0 up versus Sweden. Show falls. Very big surprise. I thought that opening was just going to be too much for the road.
Yeah, the
but
opening was
Lovelychuch
nuts.
just got him.
Man, Raven, Runt, turn 1. He put
not
actually 6 stats on board on turn 1 with 4 cards.
And one at Divine Shield.
And it still wasn't enough to deal the 13 damage.
And drew straight into Mark of Yasharaj for turn 2.
Oh, yeah, right.
Still not enough. And, the power of Quest Rogue, we said, we enjoyed the Miracle version as well. But Quest Rogue, you can't really argue with the power of 1 mana 5/5s, basically.
So far...
Although, to be fair, the Arakoa won the game, right?
Yeah, the Arakoa won the game.
Let's just wind this back a little bit.
So without the Arakoa, who just lost, right?
I think so. I believe so, yeah. So we do see that Lovelychuch goes 1-0 for China over Sweden. And Jason Zhao up next going Hunter versus Powder's Warlock. Both players had Paladin and chose not to bring it. I feel like Paladin is still not there yet in terms of how far the other decks out of the classes are along in terms of how refined or how close good archetypes are. Paladin not quite there yet. I've been playing it for last day or so, quite enjoying it actually. But yeah, now it's going to be guys have just rotated seats, and the guys from Sweden aren't chilling together. Powder in his Palm on his own as well, so not rocking it with the Alliance guys. There's even a chance that some of the Alliance players aren't even at home. Like Osaka was at Throne of Cards, for example, in Vienna.
Oh, yeah, right.
So he might not even be in Sweden at this point. But yeah, the Alliance team are going to be rocking up next with Powder coming up versus Jason Zhao. I'm looking forward to see what this Hunter list comes out. We've already seen Knuckles in Hunter today.
That was nuts.
That was
Bananas.
Knuckles. Oh, okay, Bananas, you beat me on that one. Good work.
Czech Republic already done the match of the day, but they should have played Knuckles.
Yeah,
And
everyone should play Knuckles now. I just feel like it's the correct thing to do.
It's actually a big minion. It has a merit to actually be played right now. But now let's see what China brings to the table with the Hunter, because they always try to innovate stuff, right? So maybe this time it will be like a Face Hunter.
I wouldn't be too surprised if it was Face Hunter.
Because it's really great against Aggro Rogue, right? I mean, sorry, against Quest Rogue.
Leroy!
It might be an aggro Hunter, although the question is, how does it pair against Zoo? You should have 2 Unleash the Hounds.
Yes.
Which is great against Zoo in general. But the beefy minions from Zoo nowadays are really hard to remove. Crackling Reservoir might be the MVP here.
Crackling Reservoir is always the MVP in any Hunter game, whether it's played or not. There's a freezing trap in Jason Zhao's hand, though. So he's mulligan into it. That's going to be interesting as Zoo doesn't flood the board as much as it used to, actually.
But it's still... I feel like
I'm not saying it's
freezing
good,
trap,
but...
when I was like analyzing the traps for Hunter, it seems like Freezing Trap is not really doing anything job nowadays. Druid plays just small minions that don't really, care about being bounced. Even when they have a buff, it's not really that bad. Hunters have Unleash the Hounds always in every single deck. Zoo still has a lot of small minions. And Egg Napper, an example, which just creates 2 1/1s, right? You have Adapt, who creates 1/1s as well. So, interesting.
So Powder not having a 1-drop is not what he wants to see with his Zoo list.
I mean, the Warlock.
But Jason Zhao could be, and the China team could be thinking, like Handlock.
Yeah,
or
might be.
Control Lock, maybe. And then they'll see the 2-drop happen and think otherwise. Unless Powder decides to life tap.
I think I actually like the life tap here. Because of the fact that turn 3 is the egg.
Yeah, but that's so slow.
It is slow.
That is so slow.
But it's the dream. It's the egg into the Pterodax. And that can actually give you taunt minion with 7 HP.
True. That's true. Could be.
That's like the ideal scenario.
Powder going for the long-term. Powder also doesn't know that it's aggro or as aggressive or even secrets at this point. We can see Cat Trick, Freezing Trap, so there's no doubt going to be the 3-drop as well. So there's the Unleash, as you mentioned.
Bo will keep the Imp away, and it's a target that has to be removed as soon as possible because of its ability to just cycle through the discard, which is super powerful. Because cards like Darkshire Librarian suddenly from a honest card becomes super dishonest. Like for 2 mana, 3/2, withdraw a card is nuts.
really strong. And now Powder has the option between Egg and the Librarian, but as you said, the Egg sets up perfectly for the Pterodactyl.
An important aspect of the Egg is the fact that it has 3 HP. It doesn't die to Explosive Trap anymore.
Yeah. Which sometimes is a bad thing for the the Warlock, because say you Argus it and then it's got 4 and it's like, oh god, like please just die, Egg. I want the 5/5.
The Freezing Trap, although I had a rant about it like a few minutes ago, might be impactful in this situation. Because your opponent will actually get a 5/5 and a double adapt beast, and the Freezing Trap will actually say, well, I don't really care.
Yep. So it goes on. Hyena's just going to come down now. This is really nice, because if any minion is played and the Hyena isn't killed, that's 2 buffs to the Hyena already. And
that creates a 6/4 Hyena.
And there's not a lot Powder can do about it.
That's what will happen. I mean, the Pterodactyl has to be played, right? Unless you go for the Defender of Argus, but then the Hyenas are even better for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hyenas are even better. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go for it and just rely on killing the Hyena next turn.
All right. Death Rattle is not bad to get back on the board after it gets killed, so you can maybe go for the Taunt as the second pick, if you get it, of course.
Yeah.
Stealth doesn't really do much, apart from the fact that it can be played around Kill Command. I mean, it can be used to play around Kill Command.
Yep.
And Divine Shield, well, if you don't get a Taunt, Divine Shield is worse than Death Rattle, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, Death Rattle's nice, I think. Living Spores seems reasonable to me.
And there's Taunt. And second Death Rattle.
Death Rattle again, playing to unleash.
Seems like Taunt has to be picked, right? Because you have a 5/5, so your opponent has to... Well, he sacrifices the 2 cats, goes in with the weapon, 6 damage to the face. Alright, he's going for the double Death Rattle. But now... 2 kill commands. I think this changes a lot. The Unleash the Hounds now will be just...
This is crazy.
Quick death
Does the Hyena
for Powder.
just win?
I think that's the case. That is 5 Hounds. That is 10 damage if he trades everything. Just from the Hounds. With the Cat, that's actually plus 12. The bad thing is that he cannot play Freezing Trap, but the Hyena itself will be much bigger than the attack from the Dinosaur on its own. This is crazy. 12 damage on turn 4.
Look at Jason Zhao's just like, yeah, that was pretty good, wasn't it? Good old Hyena.
Man, do you need...
And there's just 2 kill commands. There's just like almost guaranteed lethal over 2 turns here.
If only he had 6 mana.
Yeah.
It's just like,
GG.
You're dead.
But yeah, these 2 kill commands almost offer no way out for Powder. There's 6 damage, so you can just, even with no beasts, there's 5 damage next to him with kill command hero power, which puts him to 7. Another 5 damage the turn after, so at minimum 3 turn clock.
Jesus. He has to use the Doom Guard to double trade.
And the 5/5.
4 for 1.
I'll take it.
Well, almost like a 4 for 1. Not exactly.
Now kill command. It's just setting the lethal next turn, guaranteed, because
look at that.
Because the dog and the cat, best buddies for life, live.
My God.
Woof! Go, Hunter. Go.
Well, thank you, China, for trying to bring us up to the schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, if they take the 3rd game in a convincing fashion like that, we're back on the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely incredible there, for China. Already they're just swapping. Jason Zhao's like, done, next.
Let's go.
Yep, and, moving on to Omega Zero there. And, absolutely crazy game, to be honest. It's difficult because the spore picks for Powder make sense in terms of, I have minions on the board, I have Argus in hand, other minions as well to battle for the board. Yeah, if Hyena lives and then your opponent has Unleash, there's going to be a problem.
He would probably taken the Taunt adapt if there wouldn't be a weapon on board.
Oh, yeah, because
he
then it
sees there's a
right?
trade and then it just doesn't really do much, right? The Hyena goes straight to the dome anyway.
Yeah.
But without that, the Hyena maybe would have stopped just on that taunt. Right?
Yeah, and bear in mind that the Hyena doesn't often live on the board. Powder didn't have a turn 1. You know what I mean? So a lot of things didn't go Powder's way there. But we're going to be moving on. And Orange is currently Sweden's last hope to stay in this match. Omega Zero on the Shaman. Hopefully we see another version of the list. And Orange, who is a Hunter player, no surprise that he's going to play Hunter or even have it in his lineup. Because just as much as we talk about Show and Warrior, Orange and Hunter go hand in hand too. He's one of the guys who's been working a lot on Hunter lists, and I expect good things from this list. I actually looked at some of his, a couple of cards that wasn't too sure of, but he has been playing Black Knight in there as well.
Right.
To try and
we have tried it personally as well.
trying to beat out the Warriors and stuff. So, you know, it's definitely cool. I'll be interested to see what list Orange uses, but Omega Zero on this Shaman as well. Orange.
I have to say, Omega Zero is the most badass nickname in Hearthstone scene. But I think it's from Final Fantasy. Someone had a nick. There was something in Final Fantasy with Omega Zero.
From something. But yeah, Omega Zero is a very, very good player. And that is Knight as well in the background. He was there. We didn't see him before.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I actually didn't see.
Yeah, so he was there. It's just we only saw 3 of them on camera at any given time. It's like a rule. You're not allowed 4. Only ever 3. Yeah, so we are going to see Sweden versus China. China 2-0 up. They must be feeling great. If they just 3-0 Sweden, that'll be fantastic for them because they had a rough run in HCT. Most of these guys were in the Bahamas playing, so they had a rough run there. And then just saying, actually, no, you know, we're putting China on the map again and getting a good win against a very strong Hearthstone country. Let's go into it. Omega Zero versus Orange, Shaman versus Hunter, and I could probably guess most of this list from Orange.
Nesting Rocks. Look at that. Omega Zero is actually playing a face Shaman, I would say.
It's very similar to Subo's, right?
I think so. Yeah, it might be very similar. For Orange, though, Nesting Rocks, a double Legion Hounds, Animal Companion. It's a mid-range version.
It is mid-range.
You can say that.
Orange doesn't really. He has played Face Hunter, of course, because when Face Hunter is strong, you play it. But in general, it much prefers mid-range lists. This, I'm not going to talk about what cards may be in this list because one, I actually don't know and I don't want to presume. But I hope this is a certain list that I think it might be because there's some cool cards in here. But we'll see. Omega Zero not got the 1-drop, but it's definitely got a lot of beef available in terms of just dropping that crawler on 2. Because you're not going to need it against Hunter.
That is true. Most Hunters are not playing Pirates.
Both of them may as well have played Quest.
Oh my god, Unbound Elemental.
Yep. This is, again, a list that LVG actually posted that he was playing in the China Championships with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and these guys respect him quite a lot, I would say. LVG is a very impressive player, and he was taking this list with the Unbound Elementals into the China Invitationals, so it's looking good. It's I think it's their effective playoffs. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. The bow coming down on the crawler, pretty straightforward there for Orange. And now the Infested Wolf into Nesting Rock combo actually goes off more times than you'd imagine.
He's still kind of low on curve because next thing he has to play a 2-drop, and that clears the Unbound Elemental.
I mean, you might actually do it, right?
I think it's okay because you will know that if someone plays Unbound Elemental, that means he has a lot of overload in his deck.
And also, Unbound Elemental gains health as well as attack, and health can be a problem to actually kill as it goes out of range. So.
It's actually a better Trog.
Yep.
But it's for 3 mana. So when you think about it, it's only +1/+1 than the Trog, but each overload gives him the buff to the health, so that's pretty important. And I feel like Orange should make the commitment and respect the Unbound Elemental, because if that gets out of hand, he will have to sacrifice Kill Command for it. And this might dismantle his just mana curve in the future.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the Kill Command, and also having double Razor Maw is going to be potentially really powerful because you can double adapt on the same minion and get like plus attack on Wind Fury going forward, so that could be kind of crazy. Orange has put himself in a position though that sets him up for the Infested Wolf into Rock curve, or Infested Wolf into the Razor Maw curve, of course, if he really wants to. Did hold on to the Unleash, so when the board goes a bit wider, he can answer it pretty well.
That's true. Seems like a good play for Infested Wolf. We talked about Infested Wolf a lot in the previous metagame. It was perceived as just too slow. Too slow to fit in a deck. It just didn't do much. any other photo was actually better than Infested
I mean,
Wolf.
Hunter
but
was just too slow in the previous
Well,
metagame, to be fair, but...
that's also true. But now, with the interaction between the amount of minions you have on board, with the nesting rock, the fact that all those bees have now synergy with the crackling reservoir,
yeah.
it's different. It's way different.
Okay, so now we might unleash Razormaw Poisonous to kill the 7/7. Woo! Razormaw's awesome.
So at any point you can just adapt the Infested Wolf. No, it makes no
Well,
sense.
if you adapt to Dog, it means +1 actually kills it off if you trade everything in. Poisonous insta-kills it, which is sick. Plus attack kills it. There's plus attack. Okay, well, plus attack helps.
It's plus attack, yeah.
So yeah, the power of Razormaw. And now he can clear the board as well.
Pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
Yep. So that shows the power of Razormaw and why we keep talking about how it's probably one of the best cards in the set. Just out of nowhere, you just clear a board, and now Omega Zero is overloaded quite significantly, and Lightning Storm's just going to overload him even more.
I don't think you go for the Lightning Storm. Milestone Portal is just enough, and you build the board as well at the same time, so it's way better.
And open up the Hammer of Twilight next turn, which is very important.
Oh, Shield Bearer.
You shall not pass.
Well, if you get a Flame Totem next turn, that's actually pretty sick, because you can follow it up with Hammer of Twilight and that.
The old Alley Cat Rock combo.
Oh, the old one. Yeah, well,
Hey,
I have seen it so many times, man.
Hey, I've been playing a lot of Hunter, okay? I've seen it all the time. Yeah, this is so nice. I'd be surprised if there's any other route round this play, because you could Infested Wolf and Crackling Razormaw, but Razormaw's way more powerful when you play it on a minion that can actually attack that turn. So the adapt is just not normally good enough. This 4/7 with Taunt. And
It's a big minion. Does it have 2 heads, or is it just two of those? All right. Weird.
It is weird. As most things are in Hearthstone.
So how do you deal with that? You can go Lava Burst, Lightning Storm, Firefly. It's kind of sad, though. No spell damage.
I think he has to.
Everywhere.
Lava Burst's going to get used up to kill the rock, and you know, it's quite the investment, but also the rock was just quite a big dude to deal with. There ain't many of them in the deck. But we can see that Houndmaster is available as well, and Razormaw, so you could do that on the same minion to create quite a beefy taunt guy.
And the Grandmother. It's actually a good target for the Houndmaster as well.
Yep. A 3/3 that dies into a 3/2. I'll take it.
So this is kind of hard to predict. What can you get? What is the outcome that you will get the most out of the adapts, right? And is it beneficial to just adapt maybe first, see what you get, and then think about Handmaster? Because if you get Poisoner as an example, you Handmaster the other one.
Yeah, because the attack doesn't make a difference. Yeah, I do like adapt first. Also, you know, you can work on things where +1/+1 means that the Houndmaster minion just trades straight into the Shield Bearer.
Yeah.
But then again, that doesn't change much for the Taunt Totem either, so we'll see.
You might just not even play the Crackling Reservoir and just go for the Grandmother and Infested Wolf, kill the Taunt Totem, go a little bit slower, because you know that you're at 24 HP, so it doesn't really, bug you that much.
Just gonna taunt up the wolf, yeah.
Alright, so the initial play I had in mind was picked, but I feel like it might not be the best one. Because Infested Wolf is really slow. Still, like, you're kind of behind with this.
My worry is if this board gets cleared up, this Razormaw just never gets value. Whereas you could have got Razormaw onto the the 1/1s, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, although, to be fair, your opponent used already 2 Milestone Portals, right?
Sure.
Wait, 2 or 1?
Oh no, 1 Maelstrom, right? 1 Maelstrom, no Lightning Storm.
And what are the odds of this deck playing to play Lightning Storm? I wouldn't assume that they have Lightning Storm.
Depends if they've looked at the lists that have been posted.
Let's see. Lightning Storm roll high actually gives additional damage to the face. And it's low.
I guess I'll just tank it.
Still not terrible.
Oh, I'd tank it.
Yeah, I would tank it as well.
Okay, so doesn't want to take the 4 damage just in case. Hunter Hero Power, of course, doing 2 every single time.
Maybe
use it. So
maybe he has in mind the fact that Twilight Hammer might be used for trading with minions instead, so you don't want to do it too often.
sure.
Well, now the second Handmaster actually is very impactful. Made the play way better for the previous turn. Patch is drawn. Whoops. Not really what we wanted to see at this point.
Yeah, we might see a Twilight Hammer overwrite here.
Yep.
This is tough. There's Omega Zero now using some AoE means that you can't really deal with a board again. You know, Hunter's not supposed to keep rebuilding the board. It's not how it should work. And normally they get the board cleared once and then they're in trouble.
And an Animal Companion with a Kraken Reservoir.
Hoffer, Wind Fury. Oh, there's one!
God. So
Orange, if you do not raise them all the Hoffer, we're not friends anymore. Basically.
Well, there's merit to actually adapt the 1/1.
I know.
Plus 3 attack is good. Poisonous is good. Plus 3
But
HP is
Wind
bad.
Fury Hoffer, Lothar.
Wind Fury Huffer is better, that is true.
It's just funny.
You can also just build a Charging Yeti on your own, right? So,
That's true.
shouldn't Yeti be a beast?
No, I think Yeti's actually kind of like humanoid.
Ah,
Believe it or not.
makes sense. Yeah, well, what
I'm
I'm
gonna go
talking
into
about.
the lore with you, Lothar. Oh, he's not doing it. Orange.
No, you can still do it afterwards. Like, it doesn't really change anything.
True. Ah, that's true, actually. Yeah, okay, he's doing it. We are friends. Wind
Yeah,
Fury.
so Wind Fury.
Wind
Or the
Fury.
health.
No, Wind Fury Huffer, come on. Okay, at least he tried. 4-5 Huffer. Now the game has been balanced. Seems fantastic.
Volcano top deck.
I doubt he's going to play it.
Oh, wrong order of those cards, man. You can see now the impact of how patches just denies you any value if
Well,
you draw it.
Well, the problem as well is it's not so much that Patches is bad to play as a 1/1 for 1 mana charge, which is not good, but it's the fact that that card should be something else. Should be another card in the deck. Like, what if that card's Lava Burst? You know, it's like you can suddenly start to add up a lot of damage that could be available here. But the Patches is, in fact, just a 1/1. And we're taking up a card slot for Omega Zero here.
Yep. And it might actually mean game. I mean, probably will. But if you would had a different card than that, it's a different story. But I think we'll not see a 3-0 over Sweden this time.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, Aggro Shaman does have a way to do silly amounts of damage.
To be fair, this Hunter seems to be better at dealing damage right now.
That's what happens when you buff Huffer. Becomes Buffer.
Do you want to kill the 1/1?
It just doesn't want to take any potential damage, right? If the 1/1 gets a buff from Leok, then there's 5 damage to face.
Right, that's true.
Hyena, okay.
I'm guessing Omega Zero is not playing any hexes. So
I would imagine so, as in
yeah,
the
so
aggro
he needs to get a Lava Burst to deal with that Huffer.
Jade Lightning's close, but no Cigar, unless he can roll the spell damage. Doesn't get it.
Oh, it's still not terrible. You just kill the Hyena and go for damage to the face.
And the 3/3
And
as
you
well.
get a 3/3.
Like I said, you know, the Shaman does have a way
Damn.
to stay in this game, as their spells are normally way more impactful. Like Alley Cat, there you go, terrible Hunter draw. This is no, that's what I mean. Like,
you said it with such a certainty, you know. It's like, oh, I knew
No,
this will get drawn.
That's the problem late game for Hunter when they get starved, right? Your draws can potentially be very, very terrible. Look at the difference between Alley Cat and a high main. Like, it's absolutely crazy. And now there's what? 11 damage.
1/1 this turn.
Do you have to go all facing? Or do you kill the 2/1/1s? No, you can't. 4/4/7.
You can kill one with the 3/3.
Yeah, and that's it though. You need to go face with a 4/2 to have a bigger chance at lethal.
9 damage. I mean, sorry, 9 HP. And then next turn you bring it to 5. He played 2 Handmasters. So unless it's Animal Companion Misha, there's chance to have just lethal with Lava Burst. Lightning Bolt one is left in the deck. Can
Also-
also roll lethal.
Also, as well, if orange trades, then you effectively almost buy a turn again, right? So.
Yeah, I like the
this
one.
is I think this. If you trade double into the 1/1s, you're not saving that much damage for the payoff, but also you're actually not getting close enough to lethal because now, as you said, Lava Burst is lethal just with the weapon. This is all going to rely on orange's draw. He needs a kill command. Oh, Nesting Rocket is going to now change things again because that is a gigantic taunt minion.
Well, we didn't talk about
into the
that.
cat.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, and that might be game.
Yeah, that might have sealed it now. Wow. So far, 7. Oh no, Lava Burst can still do it if he doesn't trade.
But does he? Well,
He can trade the 1/1 in because the 1/1 I don't think changes the maths at all.
no, it doesn't.
So he
yeah.
can trade the 1/1 in case of Flame Tongue value.
What
But
to do?
I think he has to go face with Hofer because it's the same issue. If you don't go face, then you turn away again and a turn away again because you know the rock dies if you don't trade. The rock dies to the 2 minions on board. And then Lava Burst is an opening, right?
That is true.
But if you trade, then you also still need like a kill command when one's already been used.
Man, this is
So
rough.
it's very, very difficult.
He trades with the free.
I suppose this also means that... Oh, no, I take it all back. This trade's fine because if the weapon trade happens, then that's 4 damage to face. So then Huff is lethal.
Flame Tongue. Well, that keeps him alive.
Yeah, he can trade the healing totem into Huffer, clear the board, and then he's only on 4 health, but not a lot of stuff does 4 damage from the Hunter. Right? And he gains the 4/2 elemental back again.
Yeah, and he just set up lethal for next turn. Huh. Well, this is definitely a good draw.
Yeah,
And it still was a very good call from Orange to trade.
Yep. Yeah, this is very, very, very close. Both players just playing off the top of the deck and trying to edge out any advantage they can gain here. He has to trade fully because kill command.
Yes.
Otherwise, he's just dead.
Yeah. He needs to trade.
Because this removes, I think, all draw outs.
And-
4 damage. Oh no, Huffer again from Animal Comp. That's it, right?
Yeah. But I feel it's needed.
Oh yeah, you do trade. Yeah, you trade. It removes everything but Huffer as a lethal out for Orange, whereas Omega Zero is looking pretty reasonable with 6 damage now available.
So, unfortunately for Omega Zero, there was no way of setting up the placement in a good way to have guaranteed lethal next turn.
Rat Pack's still actually sick. So Omega Zero needs to end the game, and what's very important is that totem is spell damage. Lightning Bolt wins the game.
Well, it would have, like...
Oh, sorry, Lightning Bolt wins the game anyway, what am I talking about? Yeah, sorry. I apologize.
Oh, Animal Elemental is not enough, and that's game. So close
Wow.
to actually sweep
Whew.
Sweden.
That got tense.
Look at that. He even rolled the taunt totem.
You wouldn't want to do it to yourself, would you? I would have just conceded. I don't even want to see the totem.
Man, that was so close.
Orange must be pretty sure he's won. The Chinese players are very respectful. They would not sit and try and like BM, like, oh, Lightning Bolt, lol, at the end. So Orange is probably feeling pretty confident. You can see in his face just kind of, surely not. There we go, Orange. Orange just hit the win for Sweden there and keeps them in the game. Very similar story to the Polar matchup as well, where Blackfire just about held on. And now the game is going to pass on to an ex-world champion, Osaka, to try and keep the
They
guys
need to
in.
bring the beast from the cage.
Yeah, they're going to just open up Osaka's little... It's only a little cage, though. He's not tall. Just a tiny little cage and be like, release the beast. And Osaka just gets there. He's like, okay, I'll just play some Hearthstone.
He was just eating, cheesecake there. I was like, I need to play? Oh.
Okay.
So you guys didn't win 3-0. Ah.
Good job, guys. It's like, yeah, so it's going to be China 2-1 still up versus Sweden. So like I said, very close to a sweep. But now Osaka is going to be coming up against Knight, I believe. So,
Nightwalk.
Yeah, so that's going to be awesome. I love his hair as well, from what I saw of him. He's got cool hair. You'll appreciate that. Your hair's similar.
All right, I'm going to look closer on it then.
We can check out what classes they're going to play. Osaka on the Rogue again. Osaka actually quite well known for his Rogue play. And Nightwalk going on the Mage. Very interesting.
Mage versus Rogue. So we already have seen one time today. It was the Quest Rogue against a typical freeze mage.
Yep.
It wasn't the quest mage, so it was just Alexstrasza, Fireballs, Frostbolts, and multiple freeze turns. While we have also seen, if my memory doesn't serve me bad, it was the quest mage against Miracle Rogue.
Yeah, I think it was Miracle Rogue, yeah.
Right? And that was like 4 ice blocks. No, wait, that was Zoo. Never mind.
Yeah, that was Zoo, the 4 ice blocks.
Yeah. A lot of matches today. We
We've got a
actually
lot
had
of games.
insane amount of games, so sorry for that. We'll see what does Nightwalk bring to the table.
Fantastic hair, that's one.
Yeah,
Colours on point.
It's a cool color, definitely.
And we have Osaka there. It's the usual webcam position. Feeling good. And ready to go. So these guys are going to get into the game very, very shortly. And as we said, Osaka has to win to keep Sweden in this match. And if he does win, he plays again straight after because he's the ace player, whereas Omega Zero steps in to become the ace player for China if Osaka actually takes the win and brings it to the next game.
But if Osaka wins, he needs to pick a different class from what he played right now.
Yeah, so he has Priest or the 9th class available for him to pick if it goes to the ace game, of course.
Yeah, but first things first. He needs to win this game against Nightwalk. Nightwalk is gonna, well, hopefully for China, bring it 3-1, and there will be another 3-1 today when it comes to this course, and, well, take the lead in the group.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which version of Rogue Osaka's brought. And we can see it is opening the way gate for the Mage and for Nightwalk and Team China, whereas Osaka is rocking the Caverns below. Double quest decks coming out from these guys, and yeah, we kind of saw roughly how this matchup plays out in general, but we can see it again, and you know, piloted by some very, very exceptional players. See how this one turns out. Very difficult one to call. Is Doomsayer on 2 even worth it?
No, I think you just mulligan away.
Yeah, I think you have to wait for like Frost Nova Doomsayer, right?
Yeah.
Or you know, some kind of freeze Doomsayer.
After the Rogue pops up the quest, I think that's the moment when you play Doomsayer with Frost Nova. Although there's a huge chance that it will die anyway, because your opponent suddenly has multiple minions with charge that have 5 attack, and the Doomsayer doesn't really look that impressive anymore.
I'm also waiting for Quest Rogue to just start playing Sap because no one expects it.
Well, they sometimes they have Vanish, right?
Okay, Osaka keeping the Shadow Step, and Osaka is rocking a Wisp version of this deck. And yeah, that's definitely interesting, just having a 0 mana effect, well, a 0 mana minion to just bounce and proc whenever you want. It means that the Ferryman and the Brewmaster, if they're in the deck, don't really care. The fact it's almost like a Shadow Step, because they're reduced to 0 anyway. So you can just play them whenever you want.
You can also just Wisp, Shadow Step, Wisp Edwin.
Yep, that's a good point. It also means that you're not as punished on turn 5 when you play it, because you can just play Wisp Wisp on turn 5 with Caverns below, and actually just get 2 5/5 straight off the bat.
So many options.
Well, what are the options for Osaka here? Just the dagger, right?
Yep. But you know, the reason these like seemingly simple turns appear to take a while is they'll be discussing future turns with the team. They'll be like, okay, so we're going to dagger this turn, then we might go into Backstab Van Cleef the turn after, and then we'll do this, do that, do this, do that. So, you know, you use your time where you've got it on the simple turn to discuss what's potentially more complicated turns in the future.
Oh, interesting, a Volcanic Potion. We don't see that often, a Volcanic Potion in the Quest Mage. Since you already play, like, Blizzard, no Flame Strikes.
Well, they might not. That's the thing, right? You know,
Maybe
they might
it's
be
a setup
swapping
Blizzard,
one
yes.
for Volcanic. Like, Blizzard stalls, of course, the bigger minions. But if you're expecting more aggressive decks, then Volc Potion might just kill the minions straight up.
Well,
Probably okay with it.
The bad matchup is like Pirate Warrior, right? Pirate Warrior, any aggressive, like Phase Hunter, an example, might be also problematic. So it might have some merit. You're right.
Let's see how it works out. Currently both players on 0, though, in terms of how far ahead they are in the quest. Osaka just thinking about what exactly he wants to do. Does have that Shadow Step. I might decide that bouncing a Novice Engineer is worth it more than trying to bounce the Wisps. Because the Novice Engineer draws you cards, so, you know, it could well be more worthwhile. But see what he goes for here as the rope starts burning. Oh, no, he's going for the Van Cleef.
Okay. Look at the faces of the Chinese players.
Brilliant, that's Lovelychuch in the background, like, what?
All right, how do you deal with that? I guess that's one of the options. For 10-5 with the Doomsayer.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's 6 damage to the face this turn at least, because you can play Swashbuckler into patches and 7. Next turn, what will happen for Nightwalk is most likely just Frostbolt on the Edwin to just stop the bleeding, not to get more damaged.
I wonder what the secrets are in this deck as well.
Well, he has Ice Block, and I'm not sure about Ice Barrier. When I think about it, it's like you don't want to ever get Ice Barrier out of Arcanologist. It's just feels bad.
Yeah.
Especially when you play a version with the Medivh's Valet.
Yeah. Whereas, speaking of which, whereas Mana Bind actually gets you a spell towards your quest as well, so that can help out.
And usually the spells that your opponent is playing are great against his own deck.
Yeah, and they're 0 mana, so they're just good in general.
Choose
So we're going to see the Van Cleef has obviously just punched to face, and Medivh's Valet is just going to get dropped down as a 2/3 dude, and the monkey in the background. It's pretty funny.
There's the Frostbolt and the Doomsayer. 4 damage on board, so a simple backstab just deals with it.
Yeah. Or Vanish.
Ooh.
One turn away, of course. Vanish could be pretty great, actually. Just heal up the Van Cleef, effectively.
Well, you can also just bounce back the Wisp.
Yeah, that's true. Mimic Pod as well. Mimic Pod into Wisps. Let's go.
There's the backstab, easily dealt with.
Oh, it needs the dagger, right?
Yeah, but it's easily dealt with the Doomsayer. So now the Van Cleef is still a problem.
Is it deck? Volk Potion, ping, get him.
But Medivh's Valet is alive.
Yeah, I'll reduce, what, 9 damage for leaving 2 on the board. I'm okay with that.
That's true.
Yeah, Arcane Giants as well, looking around for Nightwalk, so you can see it's more than likely not the Exodia version with the unlimited fireballs. It's in fact the Arcane Giant version. Southsea Deckhand getting Mimic Pod. That is just 3 Deckhands. He can play 2 this turn. Can't bounce them, of course, but he could play 2.
Deal some pressure. And
yeah, attack,
that's about it,
and
right?
then play Deckhand Vanish next turn,
and
then go again.
Yeah, that sounds good. Although I'm pretty surprised that the quest is still not popped. It's turn 6. Usually when I see on ladders...
Some rare moments, Lothar. It doesn't get procced on 4.
or 3, even. That's my experience, at least, when I play against this deck.
You also draw patches a lot, so you can't use your experience as gospel.
All right. That means Nightwalk knows what was the outcome out of the Mimic Pod.
And the thing here is, if Nightwalk spends 2 mana pinging, then that's 2 mana. He's not really doing anything else onto the board. That is an ice block, so he has got it available. Still a few turns away, but 2 ice blocks might be enough to buy the time here.
He's 1 out of 6 in the quest so far.
Hit Vanish? Oh, hit Deckhand Vanish, right?
Yeah. You don't want to trade with those minions.
No, if you vanish
Well,
them.
maybe with the Valet. With the Arcanologist. Because you don't want to give your opponent an option to get that second ice block. Like, he doesn't know. They're already both on the hand.
True.
So I think there's some merit to just killing the Arcanologist.
I wonder.
Interesting. Well, he for sure attacks with 1, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's whether he wants to kill the Archaeologist here. Won't be too bad, though. He takes 2 damage with the dagger trade, of course. Oh, he's just gonna go face. Just may as well play the Wisp. 0 mana Wisp, Vanish, get him.
All right.
This is a problem, I believe, for Nightwalk here.
Well, he needs to play Ice Block this turn, 100%. And he's still super far away from the quest. 1 out of 6.
Yep. But there's a chance if he casts enough, even just a couple more spells, he could maybe get an Arcane Giant out and then Alexstrasza him. And then just get aggressive, you know, not do the Time Warp, but just actually kill him because he has Arcane Giants on the board. It's something to consider at least.
That's possible.
Osaka doesn't have a prep either, so he only has 3 mana spare, which he can create 3 5/5s, of course, 2 of them charge. But that will put the block as well. Oh, there's another Vanish.
2 vanishes in the deck. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, not super common.
Now the quest is being drawn.
Cool.
Still no prep, so it has to be played for 5 mana. Well, that allows you to pop the block, but you can wait. You can actually pop it at 1, right? Because you can use the Eviscerate this turn.
Unless he wants to go for this, though. He wants to get the minions on the board, I guess.
Yeah.
Just remind you as well that although the cameras show 3 players for China and 1 for Sweden, Osaka is on comms with the rest of his team, Powder, Show, and Orange, of course. So that's why you see Osaka randomly talking. There is a team effort. It's just they too far apart to join up in person, but we'll join up in voice comm, so it is okay. Whereas China, those guys pretty much play close together most weeks, actually. So I think they live pretty close. You see the Frost Nova come down now and reduce the chance of these attacks going in, but there is an Eviscerate. This is tight.
Well, there's also Vanish. You just vanish and you have
Oh yeah, you just vanish.
charge minions.
Okay, yeah. Ugh, so filthy.
Vanish seems good against freeze mages.
Yes, I would agree.
And that was never the case.
Vanish seeming good, I don't think was ever the case.
Wait, not well in Milrow.
Don't
that,
talk to me about Milrogue.
that's-
that wasn't a deck.
That was my favorite archetype. I'm so sad.
Work
It's
out what
an
kind of person Lothar is when you hear him talk about Milrogue.
I loved this deck, man. I'm super sad there's no Mill Rogue or any Mill deck in the standard.
So many options.
Alright, so I think it's viable to do either of both. I mean, Vanish, Charge, or just Eviscerate face this.
Choose soon.
That's definitely an option. You want the free cards, right? Even if you Evis, you can still play the Glacial Shard and the Wisp. And then have the charges for next turn, which is 10, which actually beats Ice Barrier as well.
So it seems like Osaka is taking it by the horns and is ahead in this situation. Already 2 ice blocks popped, and this is not the game where we will see like 4.
Simply not, no. This is a real problem though, because Nightwalk will know that there's 2 deckhands available in hand, so that's 10 damage just straight away. And there's no real way to stop that happening. Ice Barrier isn't available. I think this might have to just be like a godlike babbling book of some kind.
What is godlike in this scenario? Another ice block?
Ice block? Yeah, just chain ice blocks.
Well, it's a vaporize. So as close as it gets, it's a secret.
Yep.
But it's not the secret he really wanted. A glyph was necessary, basically. Out of this babbling book.
Yeah.
To also count towards the quest, get additional two spells. That's like not doable, I think.
Yeah, we can see, you know, so many cards like the Loot Hoarders and the Shimmerins as well that actually would have helped towards the quest but never got to even die or attack on the board. So proving a huge problem. The Vaporize is on there. Now Osaka, with knowing he has plenty of damage, is going to check. And the Wisp.
No! The tragedy! But they killed the Wisp.
That was a cool Wisp.
It's
Right
done.
Yeah.
2-2. Sweden is bringing it back.
Yeah, it's now going to be 2-2. Osaka does even it up, and Osaka is going to play again. We will see him very shortly as he is the ace player. We're going up against Omega Zero. Osaka cannot play his rogue. He's not allowed. He's already played it once, so he's going to be changing deck to either the ace deck they chose or his spare deck, which I actually can't remember what class it was now.
I can't remember either.
It wasn't Rogue. There we go. I will tell you that for nothing.
Well, it's also not Warrior. It's not
Hunter.
Druid. It's not Hunter. It's not Mage.
Was it Warlock, maybe? Oh, no.
No,
because
Warlock
they
was
played
played.
two, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a class. Maybe Priest.
Might be
Well,
actually Priest.
It might be Priest. So, we are going to be prepping for the ace match. It's 2-2 versus China versus... I know it's China versus Alliance then. China versus Sweden, which is showing Alliance. So it's 2-2, and we're going to be playing the ace match. It's coming up very shortly. Osaka versus Omega Zero. Omega Zero also cannot play his deck again, so we're going to check that out now. Omega Zero's gone for Warrior, and Osaka... It was Priest. Osaka's gone for the Shaman, the 9th class, so really didn't want to play Priest. We've not seen too many players bring Priest so far today, and the players that have didn't really get very good performances.
Well, we only have seen one Priest,
Philippines,
right? From Philippines, it was the weird Dragon Priest with crystalline...
Priest.
It had crystalline oracles and Priest of the Feast.
And
So
Nether
that's a
Spite.
bit weird. And never Spite Historians, which didn't see any value because the dragons were just not there. So, interesting to see now what will be the Warrior and the Shaman from Osaka. Basically, we have seen only 2 archetypes of Warrior. Only. It's actually amazing to see 2 archetypes of Warrior. And it was just Pirate Warrior and Taunt Warrior. I feel like most of the players, majority of the players, are leaning towards Taunt Warrior a little bit more. So I'm guessing China will actually bring it. But Shaman is such a weird in such a weird spot. Actually, every single archetype I feel like is strong enough to be viable to play.
Yeah, I agree, actually. I think, and even differences between those, we see the elemental decks vary quite wildly in terms of makeup. We've seen, the guys from Czech bring, volcanoes as well, to try and clear out the board and just have the stronger turns late game.
Yeah.
We've seen very steady, just elemental decks with almost all of the elemental cards. We saw, Taiwan bring, it was Ping Ping Ho, bring in his one with the, oh my god, what are they called? The ones that summon the feral spirits. Elemental.
Stone Elemental. Stone Sentinel.
Yeah. Okay. So playing those pretty much just all the elemental cards to just try and ride out the wave of strength from those cards. So it'll be cool to see what Osaka's brought. It might even be some aggro shaman actually, and not elemental at all. So we will see. Never mind, it's elemental. We can see an Omega Zero
With the Pirate Warrior.
Okay. Well, one way or the other, this one's going to be over pretty quick.
Yeah. It's either the Elemental Shaman will just tone up and stop the leading really fast, or the Omega Zero Pirates Warrior will just stomp the Shaman instantly.
Skakago got a pretty okay start. Firefly Glacial Shard is a very good card versus Pirate Warrior. Can either lock out a weapon swing or lock out just a minion attack as well.
Definitely correct. It seems like actually an awesome draw. Oh my god. Patches again. Incredible.
Yeah, it curves out next turn quite easily with the Firefly into the Flame Elemental and Glacial Shard next turn. And the Zoth's first mate. Not too great versus a 1-2 when there's no patches.
This is pretty horrible, to be honest.
Is it just coin patch?
No, you can't coin it out. If for some reason the pirate lives for the next turn, you can have value out of Cultist.
Ooh.
But we all know it's not gonna happen. So it's kind of sad. Warrior distance, Jade Claw's distance, so you don't have Overload for 10-4, so you can just play Fire Plume into 7th Cunning Mode, so seems to be very strong.
Also as well, what are you trying to Glacial Shard this turn? It doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to waste time otherwise. So I really like going into the 1-drops next turn if needed, and then, as you said, go into 4, into 5, and try and snowball from there, because Omega Zero really has not got off to a even remotely fast start here.
The thing is, like, in this scenario, the Glacial Shot cannot even be played next turn, just to keep it for like the final swings of the weapon.
That's true, yeah.
You can just
hero power pass.
Attack for 1, but you can just hero power, and it's fine. Next turn you go Fire Plume, probably trade with the weapon, with something that had more than 2 HP.
Also as well, now the option that the Hot Spring can be played instead of the Phoenix, because, it's going to float 1 mana to a certain extent, but, like, it's just a good taunt, and if you take any damage, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, but you want to also get value from the heal, right? In this case, it will just heal for 1.
Well, if you get attacked next turn, right? If there's, like, Cock Grab. Not Kokoro. Like a weapon buff attack or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, he's going to go Glacial Shard? Maybe.
Well, when you think about it, it still stops 1 damage or a trade with your minion, while you put out a minion that can trade with any of the pirates that will be played.
Yeah.
But he knows there's a patch, so...
He's in charge now. You're able to combo it with the Cultist alongside the coin to make this hook slightly less rusty at a 2-2 weapon now.
Good polished.
Look at this. Oh, and there's a Volcano as well.
Interesting.
This Phoenix skills. And the Elemental train begins.
Well, it doesn't really look great for Omega. Still, like...
Just about making it work. This Naga Corsair is still going to require an answer. I do believe that it is just going to be Servant of Kalamos, though.
Yeah.
They don't get enough value from Volcano with only the 1 minion.
You want to get Stone Sentinel or Elf Elemental
Oh.
or Hot Spring Guardian. Those are actually... Both are actually amazing. The problem with Elf Elemental is that you overload for free. Hot Spring Guardian can be played like a double on turn 6 as well. And it gives you very similar values when it comes to the health that you just soak or heal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Elf Elemental just trades with every
It kills
single
everything, right?
minion.
Whereas 2 attack
Right.
can leave pirates alive, leave Frothing Berserkers alive, which is a huge
Corcoran
problem,
Elite is a
actually.
problem as well because it just kills the Hot Spring
Trades
Guardian
up, yeah.
and it stays on the board, so it requires another source of damage.
I'm just okay with Earth Elemental here if I'm Osaka and Team Sweden. Mainly because you have Volcano as like a backup in 2 turns time. And you can still, if you Earth Elemental next turn, you overload it for 3, which means that you've still got plenty of mana to play Hot Spring Guardian the turn after. And then go Volcano if you need to, but to be honest, Earth Elemental into Hot Spring Guardian, maybe even healing the Elemental, could actually just end out the game.
That's true. You can just heal up, get that dude on his feet, although he doesn't have any feet.
So,
Sorry.
I was just going to say, I think a Corsair into Cultist is going to be the best thing here. You get a 4-attack weapon with a second charge, more importantly, and then have to probably just trade the Corsair into the Servant.
You mean Cultist into Corsair, then toned up? I mean, armor up.
Oh, sorry, Cultist into Corsair. Yeah, sorry. The Naga is a pirate. What am I talking about?
It's still not a lot of damage. You push for 9, your opponent is at 17. Still far away from killing your opponent.
Yep. Oh, definitely not a good position to be in. Maul Strike might help out with any minions that come down soon as well.
But there has to be. Like, I can't imagine any other play. Like, the
Corcoran
Cultist,
It's like, get him.
the Cultist needs to have some value ASAP. Wait, what? Alright. That is very
Flame
weird.
Tongue. Okay, so
Well, the thing is,
Blaze Caller.
how do you plan to win against an Elemental Shaman when you're start to trade?
Yeah, this is insane. With Blaze Caller coming up for Osaka next turn to remove any minion that's going to be played here. Or, depending on how wide the board is, Earth Elemental could just be the way to go. Double,
I didn't really understand the trade last turn. It's just damage lost.
double
to be
trade in.
honest. Yeah, look at that. That simple Fire Elemental soaked 7 damage.
See Volcano hero power this turn. I mean, it just clears, right? You only overload for 2, which means you can Earth Elemental the turn after.
I like it. Definitely like it. Deal 1 damage. Kill the Fronting Berserkers. Like, if you just play Blaze Caller, he still has a 6/4 minion. And you are not threatening lethal anyway.
I wonder.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be Volcano. Look at this sick animation.
What? That's so slow?
It's because it's the Frothing Berserker.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, the Frothing
Come on.
Berserkers are double buffing, remember?
Correct. Oh, this is ridiculous.
Everyone just go and grab a cup of tea while you're ready to finish this animation. I'm joking, of course, we are ready to go already, but we didn't go anywhere. It was only jest. The Earth Elemental coming down next turn is going to be huge, though, and potentially backbreaking from Mega Zero here. And it looks like Sweden might be on the road to doing a reverse kill. The first reverse sweep we've seen for Hearthstone Global Games.
It was really close because the game between Orange and Nightwalk? Orange and Nightwalk, right?
No, Osaka played Nightwalk, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, so that was
Orange
Omega
is-
Zero.
Omega, yeah.
It was really super close. It was on the ropes. Both players were actually like one of lethal for one turn, and a simple draw with damage would actually go with the match either way.
Yeah. Conveniently 5 mana available, and now Tar Creeper into Hot Spring, into Taunt, and the Pyro Warrior is going to very, very much struggle here for Team China to be able to get this win and take a win in this series.
It's impossible to win now. To be honest, like this,
Nothing
there's,
impossible, Luther.
there's no way Omega Zero will win this match. After that, Elf Elemental will get played. Even an Arcanine Reaper right now, with the trade, doesn't really do much.
Well, he's got double trade with Corcoran into Maul Strike to push this for 3. I mean, it's as good as it's going to get to a certain extent, right?
But with the Hot Guardian and the Tar Creeper already in hand,
Yep. There you go, double 3 drops. And Stone Sentinel is available for Osaka as well. Elementals are being played every single turn. Omega Zero is playing off the top of the deck as Pirate Warrior, and when your opponent's on 18 and you're playing off the top of your deck, definitely not the situation you want to be in. And that looks like it could just be game. The guys are laughing and having a good time, you can see there. And I have no doubt Team Sweden on voice comms with Osaka are having a great time too, as they must be feeling very, very confident. Stone Sentinel is open for next turn. That's something I used to say quite
Like
often is if your opponent plays Feral Spirit and you're the Pirate Warrior, you probably lose. Right? If your opponent plays Feral Spirit at this point, plus a 4/4, you probably lose.
yeah, you're running out of health at that point.
Yep.
Because it's pretty late in the game. And if you didn't kill anyone,
yeah,
they mostly will kill you.
Yeah, feels good. Okay, so it's going to be armor up, and Deckhand can't even charge this turn. So it's definitely a huge problem here. No weapon available for Omega Zero. I feel like that's what he suffered from quite a lot. He did boost the hook a little bit, but other than that, he's not really done anything in terms of weapons. And Pirate Warrior gets hindered so heavily when you can't actually have the weapon activators live.
Well, to be fair, Omega Zero was trading with almost every single occasion.
Yeah.
So it definitely felt weird.
Pick your poison here, Lothar. Which 7-drop would you like to play this?
I
Which
feel
one will
the
most
Sentinel will just trigger a 3-1 concede.
push
so
him out of the game?
I would definitely play that.
Now the one attack for the Tar Creeper not being too bad, doing the 1 damage needed to clear off the captain. Heroic Strike, probably not going to be enough to finish this
Probably
game
not.
from 18 health for Osaka and his Elemental Shaman and the Great Wall of Taunts going on. They have stolen the wall from China, and now Osaka has it in Sweden.
I would say that Omega Zero needs to suddenly get his brawl out of somewhere to even stand a little chance. But no, it's not enough. And surprisingly, Sweden takes it after being 0-2.
Yeah, save the best till last. Osaka got it covered. He won the game 4 to keep Sweden in the running, and then also won the ace match as well. So good job to Osaka and good job to Team Sweden, taking Team China down a peg and offering them the defeat out in the first match of their group. Got to be feeling fantastic to beat China when, you know, that's one of, again, we've talked about as we move through groups, the sort of giants in the group, right?
Yeah.
And we're seemingly starting off this week with multiple big matches, and actually beating out China is huge. They're one of the huge threats.
They're definitely star players, so I'm looking forward to next matches that will China bring to the table. But at the same time, have to give it to Sweden, man. The morale after losing first 2 matches had to be like low.
Yeah.
Really had to be low. Osaka showed
It was domination as well. That was the problem, the early game.
nerves of steel, I would say,
Yeah.
right? He was in a really bad position. Everything was on his shoulder twice in a row. If he wins the first match, he still needs to win the second one. It doesn't really matter if you even win the first one if you lose the second one. So a lot of pressure on him, and he actually did it. He brought back the team to Sweden. Everyone rejoice. Sweden didn't lose the match.
Yeah, and we can check out as well what's kind of funny. There's Omega Zero losing both of his games and Osaka winning both. So the ace players, being on very different sides of the coin there, the way it worked out. So congratulations to Team Sweden. They take the win. I think we can check out the standings soon and how that group still looks. Just to remind you of the group these players have come from in terms of China and Sweden. We can check it out. Sweden obviously at the top now with the only team taking a victory so far, as the only match being played was the one you just saw, and China at the bottom. But most importantly, the game record is 2-3 for China, so they do have some kind of benefit as opposed to being 3-0, for example, would be a huge problem is when it gets to tiebreakers.
Yeah.
Those numbers are very, very important indeed.
That is true. Well, it's not really much to talk about the groups so far. We need more matches, and we are left with the last match for the day, right?
Yeah, we've got the last match. We got 5 matches per day for today and tomorrow, and then the day after there's going to be, I believe, 2 matches that's going to be cast by our good friends over in America. It's going to be Rob, Wing, and Cora, as far as I'm aware, though, for now. But we do have the next match coming up very, very shortly. It's going to be the final match of day 1 of Hearthstone Global Games, so don't go anywhere.